Coursera, so all I know is what I see on the discussion forum, and now I see there's actually people behind that. Are you all in the China study group? This group? Well, that must be how you found out about it. Yeah.
Maybe some students are
from other places too.
I don't advertise it.
So I was just looking up some statistics before I came. 13% of the people who have registered for the class are from China. Okay. Meaning that their IP address is from China. Most of the students in the class, I don't know if from China or not, are working full time, but you look maybe younger, like most of you are actually students at university? Most of you? You're working? Yes. And welcome. I thought I would just say a few things about making the MOOC, maybe, by way of introduction, and then just take some questions and have some discussion. This course, I was telling Chow when we were in the car, began about 15 years ago. I was teaching at Barnard College, Columbia, and I was unhappy with the money and banking textbooks that were available. And so I thought, I'll make an innovation. I will start by reading this big thick book, Marcia Stigum, Money Markets, and force my students to read it too. And that way I will learn something and they will learn something, hopefully. And so as the years went by, it developed into a series of lectures, and I added other things, and I added readings, and we added problem sets, and I had teaching assistants to help me. One of my former teaching assistants is here, actually, Dan Nielsen, just over there. 7 or 8 years ago he was. Now he works with me at the Institute for New Economic Thinking. So I developed this course, and then this financial crisis happened. And it turned out to be the kind of course that gave you the knowledge to understand what was happening in the financial crisis, because you could see the spreads opening between Eurodollars and Fed funds, and so you knew. So I was the one-eyed man in the land of the blind, and so that's led to my making my book, The New Lombard Street, because Princeton Press came and they were looking for somebody who could explain this. And if you read the book, have you seen? It's been translated into Chinese, I think. The last chapters of the book, I think maybe 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6, they really are from the course. Okay, so I put some of that into the book. And that book did pretty well. And then I joined INET, the Institute for New Economic Thinking, and thought, well, why don't we try to make it into a MOOC? So we filmed it. That was a lot of work. And we cut it up into pieces and so forth and put it up. And so now you're seeing the second session of it. And Ding Yuan INET has hired him to be my teaching assistant for the online course. So it's really getting better now because he's uploading a lot of PDFs of supplementary materials and things. The first time through, you're lucky. You didn't experience the chaotic character of the first time through. It's better now, and because it's better, I can spend more time on the discussion forum, which I'm really enjoying talking with students. So the last thing I want to say is, I was thinking as I was flying over from Toronto and coming in from the Shanghai airport just this afternoon. This really is a course about financial globalization. And I want to emphasize a particular thing about this. The intellectual tradition that I am from is partly the tradition of the British central banking and Ralph Hawtrey, this idea that there's a fundamental inherent instability in credit. And that central banks exist in order to regulate that, in order to control that, in order to keep it from hurting people. He was thinking about a particular source of this instability. The challenge of financial globalization is that this instability is coming from new places. We have the market-based credit system, shadow banking, okay, which we're going to learn about in part 2. New system that we don't really know how it works, and that's what broke in the financial crisis. And we also have global money markets now. The dollar dollar funding market is the funding market for the globe. And that also creates a different kind of instability. And one of the things we need to be thinking about is, where does China fit into the global financial system? One of the things I know that the People's Bank of China is trying to figure out is how do we get engaged with the international monetary system without having to get engaged with all the instability? And that's a nice trick. Okay, it's not so easy to do. So this brave new world that we're in, the world of financial globalization, is a big challenge, intellectual challenge. That's what makes it interesting to me. It requires some new thinking and taking some ideas from the past, from these great books that some of them I assign, and thinking, well, what if Bagehot were alive today, what would he be saying about this? If Hawtrey were alive today, what would he be saying about this? This is how I approach these questions. So, new thinking and new institutions. We're going to have to be rebuilding the institutions of the international monetary system. We're re-regulating the market-based credit system, and we're starting from a very primitive level. We can't just adapt the institutions we have, and so we need some fundamental thinking. And I think that's one of the reasons that people take this course, to try to get a sense of this world that we're in. So I'm really glad to meet you and hear where you're from and why you're taking this course and what questions you have.